everybody, and welcome back to the Laughing Man Network's Fantasycast. We're getting into week 7. Today we're going to start talking buy low, sell high. Joined here by a special guest. We have Gator J from Fantasy Intervention and the GoingFor2 YouTube channel.
How you doing,
What's
brother?
up, Gator?
Glad to be here. Happy to sit here and talk about week 7. Let's go. Fantasy season is halfway over after this week. Ugh.
Yeah, dude, that just hit me. I feel like just 2 weeks ago, I was telling people, man, we're only a quarter of the way done. All of a sudden, it's like, man, we're almost halfway done.
We're getting there. We're almost done.
I went from not panicking to semi-panic mode.
Championship belts are fixing to be won or lost.
Right. And you got to start looking at some of these buy lows, some of these sell highs before we get into the trade deadline. That's going to creep up as well.
Yeah, that's where you're gonna have to hit. You're gonna have to hit me a couple times. You got to throw that right hook at me a couple times tonight with Gator. This is redraft. And I'm sitting here. I'm thinking. Thinking with the dynasty mindset, and hey, I want to sell a bunch of these guys on the low, or buy them on the low and sell them on the high, kind of thing. And now I'm sitting here going, oh wait, this is redraft. I'm not getting the draft picks. I'm not getting the 4 years down the road players. So you might have to hit me with a left hook and then a right jab or something tonight. You know what I mean? Yeah,
this is redraft. We're not too worried about their ages. We don't care what they may do next year. We want the guys who are going to ball all out this year, win us a championship for 2022.
Yeah, we want the rest of season guy. Let's go.
All right. So to get started on today, we're going to look at our buy low, sell high. To start off with our buys, we're going to look at quarterback. My first quarterback for buy low right now, this may be the absolute lowest and your absolute last chance to get him, is going to be Lamar Jackson. He's got 3 weeks in a row where he's gotten under 20 points. Everyone knows who Lamar is and what Lamar can do, but there are a lot of people out there who may prefer a Patrick Mahomes. They may want a Josh Allen. They may want a Hurts. They may want somebody in that category, that tier. And even if it's maybe a Josh Allen, but maybe you have a Josh Allen, maybe you need some help in your flex. You may need a running back or a wide receiver. I'm willing to package him up, move back a little bit, get Lamar Jackson now before they get into that stretch where they're jockeying for position and they're trying to change everybody's mind about these late second half comebacks that they keep blowing. So I think he's a guy that you can go get right now. You can make it look like you're taking a far step back, but in reality, down the stretch, you're looking at a guy who's going to produce almost equal to a Josh Allen or a Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, I don't know if you can buy him low right now, though, to be quite honest.
He's got 3 weeks in a row where he's gotten 14. I think it's 17 and maybe 18.
Yeah, but it's still Lamar Jackson. Everybody knows what Lamar Jackson's going to do.
Right.
You know what I mean? You still got Mark Andrews. You got a couple weapons coming. Even though you lost Rashad Bateman for a little bit, you still got you got a couple weapons coming. You throw J.K. Dobbins in there. Coming off the injury, yes. He'll be back this week. Hopefully, he'll be back to his normal J.K. Dobbins self. You also got Gus Edwards coming, which is not going to be much.
Right.
Look at there is possibilities of rumors being thrown around. You got the trade deadline coming. I know we'll talk about this a little bit too throughout the course of a lot of this. Is the trade deadline is coming. The trade deadline is 2 weeks from today, as we're recording.
Right.
So you got 2 more weeks. You got a CMC out there. You've got a DJ Moore out there. You got a couple wide receivers out there that can replace a Rashad Bateman. I'm not saying you're wrong. I just don't know that you can buy him as low as you think you can, because even in redraft, he is still a top 3, top 4, top 5, at worst top 5 quarterback.
Right.
You're still paying up for getting there, in my opinion.
Yeah. And when I say buy low, I'm talking, start of the season, a lot of people were talking Lamar #1 quarterback, which still could
Well, I mean,
happen.
hell,
But I'm talking if you have
Jalen Hurts was a top 12, but he was back in the top 12.
right,
Now he's front end of the top 12. You know what I mean? So
right, and those these are the guys that I'm talking about. If you have, I'm not necessarily saying you have Jared Goff, you're going to be able to go buy into a Lamar Jackson. That's just not going to happen. I'm talking more if you need to fill out the back end of your roster, you have Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Jalen Hurts, Justin Herbert. If you have a guy that is in that range, that ballpark of Lamar, as far as value goes, you may be able to work something out to where if you need to fill out a wide receiver, you think Garrett Wilson maybe, Pickens maybe, if you have somebody who doesn't value him as high in redraft. See if you can go get Lamar and Pickens, give him Josh Allen. I'm willing to go do something like that. Not like buy low, like you're not going to buy up into him, but you can take a step back and get a little more for your roster.
Okay. I'm with you.
You're still have a top
you're
quarterback.
down tiering and adding.
Yes.
Okay, so I see what you're saying there. You're down tiering the quarterback situation, but adding other pieces.
Yeah. You'll never talk anybody into taking your Kirk Cousins and ETN for Lamar Jackson. Nobody's going to give you that deal. But if you need to back up, make the rest of your roster better and not lose any steps, I think right now, if somebody's looking at Josh Allen versus Lamar Jackson, they may look at the past few weeks and go, Josh Allen is far superior than Lamar Jackson, when in reality, he may have just had a few bad weeks.
No, and I can agree with that, and I see where you're coming with it now. So let me ask you this: if I were to offer you Lamar Jackson, J.K. Dobbins for Jalen Hurts and Devontae Smith, stack for stack.
See, I still probably have to go with the Eagles. I like the way that Devonta Smith has been playing. He's been quietly having really good games. And my only issue with Dobbins is he just came off this game where he had to leave the game after 27% of snaps with knee tightness. So his progress in the offense is in question for me. I don't know when he's going to start getting going. I'm not even sure if he's fully healthy. But I would like that package. Maybe if you had like a Lamar and Bateman.
Even with Bateman being
might be a little closer for me.
Even with Bateman being out.
Let's say Bateman's back. Okay. Yeah, let's say he comes back this week. I think I would probably even still go Hurts in that regard.
Okay.
Hurts and Lamar are pretty much equal. This is probably a very unique buy. Like I said, you're talking if you have like Mahomes, who I have in one league, and I'm looking to do.
Well, that's kind of why I threw Hurts in there, because I feel the same way. I think that Hurts and Lamar they are that close. You know what I mean? Depending on the week and who they're playing, kind of thing. I think they're that close. I know Rewind CEO would not agree, but I think they're that close.
For now.
So my buy low right now, Jimmy Garoppolo. I mean, the dude knows the offense. He's been to NFC Championship games with this offense, with these players. And we are still doubting. Well, as fantasy owners and fantasy players, and as San Francisco 49ers fans, we are not doubting Jimmy G for the most part. The ownership, the coaching staff, they've been doubting Jimmy G. Dude has been there. He's done it. Jimmy G has to be a super buy low right now. Nobody is paying attention to him. Everybody is focused on Trey Lance and the injury. Everybody is focused on all the other garbage around the San Francisco 49ers offense, running backs, tight ends, with Kittle not having, not performing, the running backs being injured, with Shanahan going, who's my quarterback today? Who's my quarterback tomorrow? It's Tuesday of this week, and we still don't know who the starting quarterback is. Is it going to be CMC next week? We don't know. It could be,
Right.
but we don't know
Yeah.
yet. You know what I mean? But Jimmy G is a staple in that offense right now. Why? I mean, I'll throw this up at you. The last 3 weeks alone against the Rams, against Carolina, and against Atlanta, 18, 24, 27. In that order is what his points are in a PPR. That's pretty solid. Even, as a super flex quarterback, too. I'm not talking about putting him as your quarterback one.
Oh, right. He's a perfect QB2.
He's the perfect QB2. Put him in there. 18, 24, 27. 18, 24, 27. That sounds like Powerball numbers to me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so, you're guaranteed week to week 12 to 14 points.
I mean,
and if he throws 2 touchdowns, even better.
All of a sudden, he found out Brandon Ayuk played for him as well, or played with him as well. All of a sudden, he found that out this past week.
Yeah.
Whatever. Give me Jimmy G as a buy low. Go get him now before you can't get him, because all of a sudden he's going to blow up, and he's going to be a QB1 here shortly.
Yep. And for most people, you got to figure this is a guy they picked up off of waivers 2-3 weeks ago. And so they may mean nothing to him. They're just sitting there on their bench. They're waiting for a deal.
In my main league,
give him something.
In my main league, I had Stafford, Jimmy G, and what's his name that's injured now, Mac Jones. I had those 3 in my main league, and it's a 1 quarterback league, by the way. So I was like, I got to make a choice. Jimmy G wasn't on a roster at the time, so I cut Jimmy G. 2 weeks later, Trey Lance goes down, and I'm like, oh, let me get Jimmy G. This is a 14-man league. There was 14 claims on him that week. 14 in a 14-man league, in a 1 quarterback league. 14 claims. Yes.
Yep.
We all wanted Jimmy G. I couldn't trade him in the offseason. Couldn't trade him. But everybody wanted him as soon as they cut him.
Yep. Yeah, it's one of those guys I drafted in dynasty startups, knowing that eventually he would end up on a team. You look at his career, and he's a solid, consistent QB2 whenever he's playing. So he's going to give you that 12 to 14 point floor. That's if he throws 1 touchdown. If there's 2 touchdowns, even better. You're looking at a 20-point week. So he's going to do that every single week. That offense it's an oiled machine. Doesn't matter who's in there. Shanahan's going to make sure his quarterback can produce in those offenses.
Absolutely. And he knows the offense. He's known the offense for 4 years now. So, I mean,
right.
Absolutely. 100%.
Probably my only other one, I'll run over him quick, is Kyler. Just kind of like Lamar. He hasn't maybe been showing what he can do the past few weeks. He's one of those guys that has to kind of get going. DeAndre Hopkins is back. Hollywood's out. He's hurt. He's going to be missing him. But Rondale Moore's getting going. He's still got Ertz. He's got Eno Benjamin starting to work his way out the backfield. I think Kyler's one of those guys that after a few weeks of scoring under 20 points, you may be able to go out there and move a package for him for somebody who maybe got a Jimmy G or someone like that who can replace, or if you can give them a Cousins, an Aaron Rodgers, plus a wide receiver or running back that you have that maybe you drafted extra, you may be able to trick them right now into giving you Kyler down the stretch, because I think it's going to open up when DeAndre Hopkins comes back.
Yeah, but you got D-Hop coming back, and you also got the new addition of Robbie Anderson taking the place of
right.
Hollywood. So
and Robbie, easy to forget.
Yeah, you don't forget you have Rondale Moore that can play that, that specialized, coming out of the backfield. So absolutely 100%. I like the Kyler Murray choice there.
And with the Hollywood news, while that news is hot that he just lost the wide receiver 5 on the season so far, they may think, oh, Kyler's not going to do so well. Go see if you can work them something.
100%. I agree with that. Go get Kyler Murray.
Right.
Even though I hate him. He sucks. Go get him.
So I guess I traded him in Dynasty. I went and got Tua. Ooh.
He's going to start this week.
He's back.
Yeah, he's supposed to start this week.
I got Tua Goddard and it was Tua Goddard and the 212 for Kyler Murray, and I got Mechie.
Oh,
so
I like that.
I like the pick. I love Mechie.
You got Kyler. I mean, you gave Kyler 4 Goddard, Mechie,
and Tua tight end premium super flex.
Oh yeah, absolutely, smash, absolute
love it.
Smash. Yeah, no doubt.
Love it. Made us both better too, so it was nice.
That's all that matters.
So get into running backs. My buy lows. I'm looking at the Green Bay running backs. They're both getting used. They've had 3 to 4 games the past few weeks. They're still trying to get that offense, trying to sync up with the wide receivers, trying to get going. I think they will get going. I don't think Aaron Rodgers is going to continue to have that offense running like a struggle bus. They have 1 to 2 matchups that are tough left on their season, and the rest of their season are teams that can get run on. So right now I'm looking at both Green Bay running backs, Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon. I want them for either my running back 2 spot or my flex for the rest of the season. I think they're going to start getting going.
Yeah, I'm right there with you with those two. I don't trust the Green Bay offense as far as a passing offense right now.
Right.
It does not look good passing. I mean, Romeo Doubs has looked good at times. Okay. Lazard is Lazard. There has been multiple times that Watson has had a pass that Aaron Rodgers dropped in buckets, and he couldn't find the handle for any of them. Nope. And I think I have Aaron Jones in so many lineups, and it's hurt my feelings because Aaron Jones has deserved and has earned the right to be wide receiver 1 in that Green Bay offense. And Aaron Rodgers is trying to force the ball to the rookies or trying to force the ball out wide or whatnot. And it's hurt my feelings. Well, I should say hurt, as my wife would say, you don't have feelings, you only have one. And I can't be hurt anymore because I've already heard it enough. Well, Green Bay is doing that with not giving the ball to Aaron Jones in the passing game and not giving the ball to A.J. Dillon in the running game. Come on. Yeah. Green Bay has looked like a dumpster fire because they're not playing the way they should play, in my opinion. I'm not a head coach, by no means, but I can see your 2 best players are either not on the field or they're not on the field at the same time, and you're not giving them the ball.
Yeah. It's going to get to a point where they're going to have to go back to that. The weather's starting to get cold. So you know how that is in Green Bay. That's when Aaron Rodgers' stats usually come down. You just stop seeing those 4 touchdown games that you're used to. And it's when you would start seeing Aaron Jones and Jamal Williams pounding the ball. And I think that's going to come back with A.J. Dillon this year.
Well, we could still see 4 passing touchdowns. They'll just be like 3-yard touchdowns.
Yeah.
All be to Aaron Jones. And that's the only guy that's on the field.
Fine with that.
I'm 100% fine with that. Give him the ball. Well, my buy low, and it's because he's been injured. I actually have 2 buy lows for the running back position. My buy low, the biggest one, is going to be Jonathan Taylor. Right now, he is running back 40 on the year. He's only played 4 games. People have forgotten what Jonathan Taylor can be. Of course, then you look at that Indy offense when he's not there, and you're like, if they only had Jonathan Taylor. But then again, the running backs they've put in place, I know Hines got injured, and then what's the other guy that they just had?
Deion Jackson looks good.
Jackson was good this past week. But can you imagine if they gave the ball to Jonathan Taylor the amount of times that they gave the ball to Deion Jackson?
He had 22 touches.
When is the last time?
10 targets.
Okay. This year, in the first, 4 games before he got injured, did Jonathan Taylor see the ball that many times? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
Yep.
The RB1 last year can't see the ball that many times that you want to give it to Deion Jones or Deion Jackson.
They said they were going to try to keep him fresh, not burn him out, and he got hurt anyway.
Well, they kept him fresh.
So,
and they burned him out at the exact same time without giving him the ball. So, Jonathan Taylor, buy low right now.
And I just bought Jonathan Taylor
in a redraft. Yep. I don't know what you can do in a redraft wise. I'm wondering. Let me throw this at you because it's Jonathan Taylor and what he did last year. Redraft, my mindset is dynasty, of course. So I'm sitting here thinking about it. Okay, we just talked about the Green Bay running backs. You have Jonathan Taylor. I have Aaron Jones. There's the right way to say it. Would you sell Jonathan Taylor to me for Aaron Jones plus a Njoku, something along those lines? Call it a tight end premium for whatever it's worth.
Yeah, that's tough. My only issue with the Green Bay, and like I say, I say buy the Green Bay running backs, but it depends on what value you can get them at. You need to find somebody else who also agrees with my issue right now is paying for a running back one again for Aaron Jones is rough because his ceiling is kind of capped at 15, 16 touches right now. With A.J. Dillon back there, they're both getting 12 to 15 touches a game. And, it just doesn't seem like you're going to get those 20 carry games from Aaron Jones anymore. I think you'll end up getting 30, 35 carries from the backfield total some weeks, but you're not going to get that full usage from each one, it doesn't look like.
But does it seem like you're getting that usage from JT as well? About the same?
So far, no. And that's what worries me. The confidence I have there is at least maybe now that they see it doesn't work and they need to get that running back involved.
Or
maybe when he comes back and gets healthy.
Or that they have a Deion Jackson that they can.
That's also they may use him more now.
So does that deflate the value of what we thought was? I mean, we were putting JT no matter what concept you were or what format you were playing, whether it was redraft or dynasty, you were putting JT. I mean, it may have only been that much, but he was that much above CMC, even in dynasty.
Right. Yeah, you're over here making me rethink my trade I just made in one of my leagues. I sent Derrick Henry and Corey Davis, kind of a toss-in flex capable wide receiver 12 team for Jonathan Taylor. I felt like I kind of bought him low there, even though Henry has been having some pretty big games.
Well, no, I'm not opposed to that because you sent out an aging running back and a wide receiver 3?
Yeah.
Maybe a wide receiver 2. Maybe a wide receiver 2 in that offense. I mean, to be quite honest, maybe a wide receiver 2 in that offense, but probably your wide receiver 3, maybe wide receiver 4.
Yeah, he was benched for me, so
fill
in for flex on a bye week.
So you sent off a Derrick Henry, 28, 29-year-old Derrick Henry for a Jonathan Taylor. I don't hate that.
Now that is redraft, but the age factor as the season goes on, Henry. I mean,
yeah, but you only need that one big ass week again. 2 weeks from now, Jonathan Taylor goes for 45.
Right.
And you could turn right around and sell him for
$1 million.
2 more wide receivers and a quarterback. I mean,
Right.
this is what's gonna happen. It's a redraft,
Right. And that's kind of what I was going for there. So hopefully it works out.
and then you're gonna sit there and look at it and go, Derrick Henry, who?
Right. Yeah. Well, Derrick Henry's got 8 points because he only got 8 carries in a blowout.
Right. With Ryan Tannehill.
Right. Another running back I had Kareem Hunt. Kareem Hunt's had a few not so great weeks, 7, 8 points. Cleveland's got a schedule coming up for the next 7 games, I believe it is, that are pretty high-powered offenses. It's offenses they're going to have to keep up with because their defense just isn't the same as it once was. So I expect Kareem Hunt's usage to go up some more. Chubb is going to continue to get his carries, but as far as the passing game, I think Kareem Hunt is going to start getting used more in these situational games where they need to keep up on offense.
Yeah, I'm not opposed to the Kareem Hunt thing. The thing I will say is Kareem Hunt
trade deadline.
Yeah, but
the trade deadline's coming up too.
Kareem Hunt, Nick Chubb, both can be ridden out of that offense at any time, depending on what the game script is. If it's 42-0, Nick Chubb is worthless to you. If it's 3-2, it's Kareem Hunt time. You know what I mean? That is just the way it is.
Yep.
So I am not opposed to that as far as a buy low. The other side of that coin too is it's got to be a buy low. I'm going to throw a dynasty at you, especially since his contract is up. You know what I mean? We have no idea what his future is. But what would you want to give if you were buying Kareem Hunt? What do you want to give to get him?
Redraft. I'm probably trying to send somebody a package that involves maybe a guy who's got inflated numbers over the past few weeks. Let's say they need wide receiver, and I have Josh Reynolds sitting there on the bottom of my bench.
Amon-Ra,
I don't know if I don't know. Yeah, with Amon-Ra's coming back, maybe you can show him like, hey, look, Josh Reynolds has been putting up 15-point weeks for 3 weeks in a row, getting 8, 9, 10 targets a game, and pair him up with, another maybe hopeful around Michael Carter, somebody, like an extra little running back on the side. But I wouldn't pay a lot for Hunt.
I mean, Michael Carter's a hell of a running back too, right there.
Yeah, I mean, in redraft, it's kind of up in the air because he's going to be week to week. Just it depends game script. If Breece Hall's getting fed that week, how well he's doing. Dynasty wise, probably looking at a little more value out of Michael Carter. But as far as like redraft though, I mean, if you can do something like that where you can get a Michael Carter, and let's say they need a wide receiver and they still think Josh Reynolds is going to come in and continue to be used in the Lions offense, you might be able to move him in it. Jamal Williams with Swift coming back. If you can give them a Swift or a Jamal Williams and a Garrett Wilson, maybe, somebody on an offense, a wide receiver that is really good, but that offense is struggling here in 2022.
Yeah, I think a lot of that mindset depends on what your depth is. I think I'll give you a Robbie Anderson.
Yeah, right now that's a good guy to sell. Like he may blow up, but there's still a high chance that it's still Robbie Anderson.
I mean, that's a wide receiver too walking into that offense right now today.
We'll see how it turns out once he plays, but yeah, I mean,
he could be he could end up being a wide receiver 7 in that offense. But right now he's a wide receiver 2. I do have a second running back. And it's probably going to be buying super low, especially for redraft. Gus Edwards.
That's a waiver wire pickup
coming off the IR.
I thought about for redraft.
For most people, that's going to be a waiver wire pickup. You're coming off of an injury. So is J.K. Dobbins. J.K. Dobbins went down a little bit last week because of tweaking. I want to say it wasn't even the same injury. from what I understand.
I thought it was tightness
like an
in
ACL,
the knee that
it
got
was
repaired. He didn't hurt it. It was just tightness.
right, but it wasn't like the same. Correct. That's what I mean. So, and then
Right.
Kenyon Drake just went off. Well, when you give the ball to a guy 75 times in a game, what do you
And look
expect
at
him to
last
do?
year,
He's
you
going
had
to get 7
Devontae
yards.
Freeman and Latavius
minimum.
Murray put up seasons of where you could actually
Oh,
start
let's
them.
not talk about Latavius.
You
Murray
could actually
and
start
Denver
those guys
Broncos.
last year.
Denver Broncos and yes, yeah, and there was a chance you could start, Kenyon Drake. However, Kenyon Drake is not the long-term answer. I honestly think that Gus Edwards, when Gus, and I wrote an article about this. I say an article. I wrote an article. It's like this big.
Yeah.
I mean, it was small letters, but it was big to me. It was big to me. Wrote it on the GoingFor2 network. But yeah, so Gus Edwards, and y'all will thank me later for this if you haven't already picked him up. Dude, he's produced every chance
Very efficient.
he got the ball. And he produced very efficient. He produced behind J.K. Dobbins 2 years ago. When J.K. Dobbins was a rookie and the reason J.K. Dobbins was the next big thing in running backs. So Gus Edwards is somebody that I am super high on. I hated he hated the injury. But he's coming back and he has taken the time to come back. He's going to be somebody that is probably going to surprise some people. I'm picking him up, especially in redraft, everywhere, so I can play him for the playoff run. Again, I know we're only 6 weeks into the NFL season, but we're also halfway through the fantasy football season. We need a Gus Edwards for the playoff run.
Yeah, I can get down with that. I think he pairs really well with Lamar Jackson, even if Dobbins isn't on the field with him. It's kind of like that lightning and thunder type thing. Lamar keeps the linebackers back. He keeps them, the speed guys in there. And as soon as you have those smaller linebackers in there, the safeties moving up, and you have Gus Edwards coming in and slipping in the inside the 20, he's going to be barreling over some of those guys. So I'm okay with it. I think, like you said, down the stretch, it's going to start getting cold, like we said, with Green Bay running backs. And I wouldn't be surprised to start seeing him banging in some touchdowns when he comes back. All right, so we can get into wide receivers now. Buy lows that I'm looking at right now
Alrighty.
are going to be Michael Gallup. Michael Gallup is currently listed as the wide receiver 94. Hopefully whoever you're trading with looks at that and takes that into consideration. But right now he's only getting 7.5 points a game. However, they've been playing with Cooper Rush. Dak is scheduled to come back, and Gallup, I believe, had his few weeks to get his feet under him. He showed the knee is healthy. He can run routes. He's playing like 60% of snaps or so right now. I think once Dak comes back, you're looking at the air attack being full go. And I think Gallup's going to start looking like a back-end wide receiver 2 almost every week. I think he's going to be almost matchup proof because he's never going to see top coverage. You're always going to see that coverage on CeeDee Lamb.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I'm not sold on CeeDee Lamb as a wide receiver 1. I'm not.
Yeah.
I've not been sold on CeeDee Lamb as a wide receiver 1. Gallup is. Here's the thing. Just to be quite honest about Dallas and their wide receiving core. With Amari Cooper, you saw CeeDee Lamb be a great wide receiver 2. You've seen many wide receiver 2s be great. You've also seen many wide receiver 2s move to a new team and just flame out. I think CeeDee Lamb needs that number 1. With Gallup, I don't know if Gallup can be a 1 though. And I'm afraid that with the tight ends, and maybe it's just the Cooper Rush that's hurting my feelings.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Maybe it's just Cooper Rush that's hurting my feelings right now. But I just don't trust. I don't trust the Dallas offense. I don't. I've had a hard time trusting Dallas as an offense. They're great in the season, but they are horrible when it comes to crunch time.
Yeah, and that's I mean, when it comes to fantasy, I'm the same way. I am a Cowboys fan. Got the Cowboys behind me, but they don't have a good track record of finishing out in the second half. They get all their points in the first half, air raid, and then fizzle out. As far as fantasy goes, hey, I'm fine with that. Wherever they score the points, they score the points. CeeDee Lamb, he's always been one of those guys past few years that I've kind of looked at as he's a much better NFL receiver than he is a fantasy receiver. His potential as a fantasy receiver is through the roof, but I think
Is he though?
I think the problem with him though, he gets a lot of coverage. He's had Dak in and out. I think CD.
Time out. Is CD really a better NFL receiver than fantasy? I think he is the fantasy receiver that the NFL has.
I mean, he's only played the one season with Dak. Great. Really, he had the first season Dak got hurt, broke his ankle, and then
he has a full season and he's still what wide
right. They fed Schultz. 27? Schultz was the big one last year, and Amari Cooper. So I don't know. I'm giving.
Yeah, but then his third season that gets hurt again.
Here we are again.
But wait, but when Dak is playing, he gets 11 targets, 2 receptions.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, listen, I'm not a Cowboys fan.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to be fair.
Oh, no.
I'm just
CeeDee Lamb is one of those guys that just physically, ability-wise, he can't be denied what kind of athlete he is. But we haven't seen
if he wants to be if he wants to be the athlete.
So I mean,
he's got to wake up on the right side of the bed, have the exact same breakfast. I mean, he's got to be so pampered in order to be a wide receiver one, in my opinion.
I didn't want to do it until last year, but I almost felt like it was Kellen Moore holding something back in that offense and just not gelling right with CD and Gallup and all these weapons that he has. I'm waiting to see this year. I think I wanted to see it this year with Dak healthy. Unfortunately, we haven't seen that yet. I'm hoping Dak stays healthy. Maybe now we actually get to see CD be CD. But no, he's one of those guys that definitely I feel like ever since he was drafted, it's been what if, like he may do this, he may do that, or he will do this, he will do that. And it never has been, he did this. It's always been, he will do this. And we haven't quite seen it yet. But I think he's one of those guys that you're still getting top defenders on him every week. You have to. Whoever your best athlete is, you still have to stick him on there. Saints, Marshawn Lattimore, Slay. Slay's going to be on him week after week. You're going to have to watch him.
You know what's sad? What's sad is your pick there was actually
CeeDee Lamb.
Gallup, and
right.
we went to CeeDee Lamb. How bad that Dallas offense is.
and Gallup, it's kind of the same.
That's
the same thing though. He's hurt on and off a lot.
Absolutely.
And we've had a lot of talk about his talent for the past 4 or 5 years that he's been in the league, and we still haven't really seen it. Like, he's been a boomer bust wide receiver 3 pretty much every year that he's been healthy. So we haven't quite seen that from him either. So a lot of it is a what if. So, but I think right now, with him not putting a register in a 10-point game yet, 7.5 points per game, I think he's worth going and taking a risk on, going to get your hands on him now.
No, I absolutely agree. I mean, I was trying to scoop Gallup as late as I could in every
Right.
startup I did this year. The old philosophy of you want a piece of every good to great offense you can get. I didn't care that he was injured. I knew he was coming back
Yep.
mid-season. I wanted him for the playoff run. So absolutely 100%. I agree, Gallup. And that's where and this leads into mine. I want D Hop. D Hop is going to be one of my biggest buy lows. If you haven't already done it, you should have, because he comes back and he plays on Thursday Night Football this week. So with Marquise going down, the struggles that the Arizona Cardinals have had on offense, by no means am I saying that the Arizona Cardinals is going to go and just all of a sudden figure this whole thing out. But if you look last year, D-Hop missed a few games. All of a sudden, Kyler Murray and the Arizona Cardinals offense went shit-faced. Then all of a sudden, D-Hop comes back and they go,
Yep.
oh yeah, we play football here. That's how they do it in Arizona. But the one I wanted to talk about even more, and it's somebody, kind of leading back to going back to the Dallas conversation, Claypool. Right now on Fantasy Pros, he is wide receiver 41 in all of football. Amazing. But there's also something else amazing fixing to happen in this brain. November 1st is the trade deadline. That's
Right.
2
I haven't
weeks
thought of that.
from today. Claypool to Dallas.
Man.
Don't know what Dallas would have to give up. But Claypool to Dallas.
There's a lot of teams that could use a Claypool right now.
Given CeeDee Lamb, Claypool, and Gallup as your 3 wideouts. Pick whoever the hell you want to put in the slot.
And two of those 3 are really big men. You're not going to be able to pick some scrawny little cornerback. So that would be.
Oh, so a nickel's not going to cover them.
That would be. I would take it. I don't.
I'm just saying, and I'm not a Dallas fan. I'm a Tampa fan. So I'm like, you know what? That is just the obvious.
I'm currently trading what I expect to be the 211, 212 for Claypool and Dynasty. So
give me the Claypool
I'm looking
that
ahead.
I can get.
I'm looking at who his next team's going to be. I haven't really thought of the trade deadline. With them having Pickens coming out, they may be able to move Claypool and maybe go get a lineman.
And of course, they just. And then they turn around. They sign Johnson. So Claypool's the odd man out. Now I'll tell you this: the Pittsburgh Steelers, as an organization, has done one hell of a job scouting and drafting wide receivers. You know what I mean? So it's like, if there's a wide receiver that's on the free agency market, and Pittsburgh had them at one point or drafted them,
right?
You might want to look at them.
James Washington was a sleeper for me going into the season until he hurt himself.
Well, James Washington is on every freaking every IR that I have.
And you look at the Cowboys this year. That's one of the things they were going to need is a third wide receiver. They had Amari leave. They had Cedric Wilson leave. You needed someone to step up. Noah Brown stepped up, and he stepped up nobly. He's looked good. But if they could have a Claypool or they could have him on the team, man, I thought Washington was going to have a good season.
Over the last couple of days, thinking about different trades, the CMCs, the DJ Moores, and I'm like, man, what is the unknown that would help somebody? And I'm like, Pittsburgh needs so much help. Offensive line,
Right.
Whatever. And then I'm like, what are their expendable pieces? The ones they haven't already signed or just
Right.
drafted
They're
that
not
they're
going to
not
pay
going to want to get
Claypool.
rid of. And I'm like, where are they? Yeah, exactly. They don't play wide receivers. They don't. And I'm like, where are they going to go? And I'm like, okay, where would the fit be? And I've heard a couple other people talk about it. A couple other people, Claypool to, this or this, Green Bay, and, who needs a wide receiver? Claypool to Chicago. And I'm like, Claypool to Dallas.
That, that fills a hole.
And then I started thinking about it. I'm like, what would Dallas have to give up for it? Not much. I don't think, because Pittsburgh's not going to pay for it. He's coming up.
I think as far as them
to Pittsburgh,
like real NFL trades, I think a guy like Claypool, he's not necessarily like a huge talent. I still don't think he's like a first or second round talent. They may be able to get him for just a straight up 3 or 4 or a 4 and a conditional pick or something like that. Just like Amari went for a 5th just to get his numbers off the books. NFL trades, they don't look the same as, say, dynasty trades. They're not looking at the values like that. They're looking at the money and where you may be able to draft, coming up, where you may be able to find that talent.
No, and that's where I was 100%. I was getting that. I was thinking of more NFL side of it, nothing dynasty there for a second. I was thinking of more of would you, as a Dallas Cowboys fan, be okay sending Van Der Esch and a 3rd or a 4th? And as a Cowboys fan, I know it would be preferably a 4th. But would you send a 3rd and Vandy for?
I think something like that. Claypool? If they were to send like a linebacker
tomorrow,
with Van Der Esch playing more this year. Last year he was a trade talks were surrounding him, but this year they're not. It looks like they're back committed to him. He's playing that more of a middle linebacker slot.
He's playing like 78% of the.
And
he's playing 78%
majority
of
the snaps. So I don't know if they would, but I think if they were to send somebody like Van Der Esch, who I think fits Pittsburgh's type of linebacker that they like, I think they would end up having to send like a 5th or 6th. I think they'd have to back that up a little bit. I think Van Der Esch's value is still pretty high up there as far as linebackers go.
Still super high, yeah.
But I wouldn't mind getting Claypool.
But I just no. I think Claypool fits the offense. And if you got to send a defensive piece in a late pick, go get him. You got 2 weeks. 2 weeks from today, yes. Jerry. 2 weeks from today. And you just lost last night.
Dak's
or 2 nights ago. Whatever it is.
I'm hoping for the best. Dak's slowed down a lot. So
we are off the Dallas Cowboys segment now. That's
we're not,
a whole YouTube
because now we're moving on to tight end. And my buy low is Dalton Schultz.
Oh, here we go.
Dalton Schultz has looked like shit this year with Cooper Rush. He tweaked his knee a few weeks ago. He's missed 2 games in a row, game and a half in a row. With Dak back, just look at what Schultz did last year. People are starting to drop Schultz. Schultz is 75% owned as of yesterday. So, no. Go get Schultz. Find somebody who's down on him and go trade off somebody and get him. Go trade off a Higbee. Go trade off of a Njoku. I'm willing to go move and get Schultz now.
Yeah, I mean, I own Schultz. Unfortunately, this year has been horrible. So I picked him up last year off of waivers, which is sad. But he is 75% owned in sleeper leagues anyway. And he's looked like garbage all year. He got the whatever tag he got this year. I don't know if they tagged him with. What did they tag him with?
That dude's getting paid. Yeah.
Franchise tag him, or did they tag him with
him.
something else?
He's making top 5 tight end money.
But he's also been injured. Then his quarterback got injured. I'm a huge Dalton Schultz fan, but I'm that guy too. I'm not selling him on the cheap because I know what he is.
Right.
Unfortunately for my league mates last year, I got him because I left him on waivers.
Yeah.
That's their fault. That's not my fault. But I'm not selling him because I got him on waivers. Fuck you. I'm not doing that. That's your fault for leaving him there and letting me get him for free. That's your fault. If I can stash him, I'm stashing him. As far as this next week, I don't know that I can play him this next week. I don't trust Dak's. Yeah, I don't trust Dak coming back this week with I've got to get the ball down the field yet. With Dak's injury, with Schultz's injury, I've got to see it at least for a week. I would rather sit Schultz this week and get 27 points on my bench than putting my starting lineup and get -5.
I'm not ready for him. This is why he's a buy low. Is because you're talking about them. You're talking about the team not getting almost anything out of him for the past 4 or 5 weeks. I think he had one decent week. Then you're looking up at him coming up next week and not being fully healthy. Dak having his first game back. So go ahead and get him now and give him a guy who has been producing, a Higbee, before they go.
We are in week 7, right? We're going into week 7, right? Okay, so he has 20, just in PPR, he has 21 point something points for the year. Total. Okay. 14.7.
Yep.
We're in week 1. Okay. So he's at 0 points. With 0 points the rest of the way.
It hasn't been pretty.
Okay. All right. So we can agree that it's not been pretty. Not been pretty.
Nope. The only game he produced was a game where Dak played half the game. So
that was 14.7.
So that's kind of where I'm at right now. Is you're buying Schultz, just with your second tight end on your roster. Maybe you have a guy who's been producing. Move up, see if you can go send him and Elijah Moore, or some other middling wide receiver. See if you can go get him, stash him on your roster, and hope you get that tight end that you saw last year.
Agreed. My tight end to go and snag ASAP is Kyle Pitts. He is tight end 23 as of right now. Dude, very much like Dalton Schultz, has not produced at all this year. He didn't produce any touchdowns last year, but he was the number 5 tight end on the year. If you can't go get him right now in redraft for a bottom dollar, you'll never buy him. You'll never buy him in dynasty, redraft, or anything else.
Nope. You're coming up.
It's just not going to happen.
That door is closing.
Bottom
Everybody
dollar.
knows what he is, but he won't.
Yeah,
he won't do the thing.
Yeah, well, and I just, he's fixing to get in the end zone. He is about to get in the end zone, and that's the problem. Is he didn't get in the end zone until late last year. He got into the end zone last week of this year. He only had 3 targets last year, this last week, and he got in the end zone.
It's coming.
Marcus Mariota finally figured out that tall son of a bitch plays for my team. And it's like, oh, crap, I can throw to him. He is on my team. He's not a defender. He's my guy. And then, he throws to him and touchdown. And Marcus Mariota's like,
they're having to figure out ways to move the ball now without Cordarrelle Patterson. And it took that for them to figure out that they have Kyle Pitts. So I'm with that. I've been saying that for a few weeks now. He's been a sit for me pretty consistently, just because we haven't seen it yet. But he's been a buy low for me as well. Buy it because once he breaks out, that's it.
Yeah, his total points already for the year are for like 42 points in a PPR. So he's only produced in 6 games. He's only produced 42 points. Not exactly. It is not tight end 7 production. So you use that. If you're trying to trade for him, use that against the trade partner. I mean, that's what you're doing. You were trying to use your information against him. Go get Kyle Pitts on the cheap, and if it's dynasty, man, go buy that dude for a third.
Yeah, you might be able to find somebody who's just like, man, get him off my roster.
Get him off my roster.
So now let's get into sells. As far as selling quarterbacks, just like I had before with Lamar, when I was saying you should go buy Lamar, my sell high almost every week is Patrick Mahomes. The weight that comes with that name is just like Josh Allen. People see that name and they think top quarterback automatically. See if you can move back a little bit, get a package of a wide receiver or running back with Burrow, with Murray, with Lamar Jackson, if at all possible. I think Mahomes, just with that top level value, is sellable. Again, this is nothing against Mahomes. He's a top quarterback, so this isn't a guy that isn't my main guy. He's just kind of that, what I was saying, if you need to package down, Mahomes I think is a perfect name for you to be able to sell because his name holds so much weight.
No, I mean, I don't know how you would. I don't know how you sell a Mahomes, an Allen, a Herbert, these top echelon guys. I don't know how you can do it and get the value.
Right. It's very situational.
In redrafts. Yeah, in redraft, especially because it's like, no, I need like your next 74 first round picks. Period. The end. Fuck off. I don't. And so if I'm that guy that has a Josh Allen, a Holmes or a Mahomes, a Herbert, I'm sitting there going, I'm never getting the value unless I'm getting number one wide receiver, a number one plus.
You see, those are one of those deals I've seen that I could take if I'm moving off Mahomes and I can get a Burrow and a Mike Evans. Something like that. A top end wide receiver 2 at least, to pair with a back end QB1 with higher up QB1 potential.
Yeah, no, I agree with you on that. But I mean, if I'm sending Mahomes, I'm definitely wanting like a Herbert plus, and I'm not talking about a wide receiver, high end wide receiver 2. I want a Herbert, and I wouldn't even say a Herbert, but I would want like a wide receiver 1 on a team that's going to definitely be a wide receiver 1 overall. I would want like a Justin Jefferson, Kirk. I would want
this
a stack.
And this is another one of the situations too where we're coming into week 7. You have some teams who are 1-5, 2-4. They need to sneak into the playoffs. They need to make something happen, and they just have Mahomes sitting up there at the top of their roster, big golden shiny name that it is, and they're still losing. So you need to try and fill in the rest of your roster some way. And I think Mahomes is one of those perfect pieces for those teams to be able to sell up and try to work your way back into the race.
Yeah, and if you're doing that, you
Right.
got to get more.
Yeah, you have to get at least 2 pieces, and they got to be 2 guys you're starting every week. Which,
yeah, you got to go get pieces that you're not just going to start every week, but you won't. And I guess this is, I'm trying to put
Aaron
myself
Jones
in this
and Burrow.
redraft mind frame. You want a back end. Yeah, but you want to. Okay, I'm going to stretch it even further for you. If I'm sending you Mahomes because I'm 1-5, I want a back end quarterback 2, so I can plug in. I want a top end wide receiver 2 and a solid flex. So I'm thinking something along the lines of I want a Derek Carr plus like an Aaron Jones / AJ Dillon and
Breece Hall.
A Kenneth Walker. Breece Hall is going to cost you
both of them are on the rise,
and if it
both of them look really good right now.
Well, absolutely, but Kenneth Walker has only played 1 full game, right? Whereas Breece Hall's done it for a couple of games. So, if I'm giving you a Pat Mahomes, I'm going to sit there and ask for a Derek Carr, like I said, a Kenneth Walker, I'm not going to stoop to the level of some of these Kansas City wide receivers, but I still want a solid 2. You know what I mean? To give up 1 guy to get 3 that may not give me the absolute production that Pat Mahomes is going to give you on a weekly basis, but they can spike and put me over the top on certain weeks.
Yeah, I'm good with that. But like I said, it's just one of those tools that I know sometimes you got stuck with because I know you drafted them high, and sometimes you end up getting stuck with them and you still lose them. Don't be afraid to trade them. Everybody, you should be okay with trading anybody if it's needed. And I think Mahomes just one of those pieces that's worth so much that don't go down with the ship. Like don't just say I'm going to ride this thing out and whatever. I'm going to make it look better because I have Mahomes. No, go package out. Try to fill your roster. Try to win some games now. You can't. There's no looking to the playoffs and saying, oh, well, Mahomes has a good schedule, week 14, 15, and 16. You might not make it that far.
It's redraft, so you
have to win now.
If you don't do it this year, if you don't do it this year, it doesn't matter. So ship him off. If that's the only piece you have and you're 1-5, man, ship him off and go. Listen, the worst you can end up is 1 and whatever. Ship him off. If you end up and you get 2 wins out of it,
you tried.
You're better off than what you would have ended up with anyway. Yeah. Oh, we're on the sale highs. All right, here we go. Geno Smith.
Porks buy low.
Oh man, and I'm gonna sell him high. Pork can sell him as low as he wants to. I'm gonna sell him as high. Dude is QB7 on the year.
Insane.
And they're talking about, well, Drew Lock is right behind him. Well, sell his ass now. No, I mean, you got QB7 on the year, and we were all talking preseason when we looked at this trade when they sent Russell Wilson to Denver, and we're all like, oh my God, DK Metcalf. Oh my God, Tyler Lockett. Oh my God. Oh my God. What are we doing with these wide receivers? Oh, they're okay. They got, what's his name? Geno Smith from West Virginia. Not that shabby.
So getting into running backs. My first sell high had a really big week this week. He had a good week the week before. I'm going with Ramondre Stevenson. This isn't for any hate against Ramondre Stevenson. It's a situational thing for me. We had Damian Harris was hurt the past 2 weeks. Damian Harris is still a little banged up, so you might even get one more good week out of Ramondre before they go right back to splitting the carries. I think my only issue with Stevenson right now is his upside is limited because they split the carries, just like the Dillon and Aaron Jones situation, and you have Mac Jones out. So I think once they get Mac Jones in, they're going to go back to the offense they were running before, split backs, Mac Jones hitting Jacoby Myers down the field. And I just think Stevenson's going to be capped off. And I think right now, after having 2 big 20-point-plus weeks, I think you might be able to sell him and go get a running back who plays more consistently. Maybe package him up with a little something and go get a Mixon, something of that nature.
Yeah, I mean, I like the pick there. Ramondre is with that offense. Man, there's so many questions with
New England's offense always is.
They could go from 75 plays, 74 of them being rushing plays, and only 1 pass to being 63 passes and 7 rushes. So it's hard to predict that offense, but with the running back issues that they've had, man, Ramondre is like, how is he not receiving?
He should be a top 10 running back in the league.
He should be a top 10 running back every week. It doesn't matter what offense he's in. Dude is special.
Yep.
That dude is
They make
special.
him split those carries, and it hurts them both.
I got two top 15 running backs you should sell and sell now. One of them is hurtful, but you should do it. I'm going to try to do it. You got to sell Leonard Fournette. You have to sell Leonard Fournette. You have to do it soon because you're going to lose your window. I think Rachaad White is coming, not just in rushing, but I know he's taking over the passing game. Every week he just nips into this passing game from the backfield. And if you don't sell now, your sell window is going to be over. And I don't care if you're in redraft or dynasty. It doesn't matter at this point when it comes to the sell window. If you sell now, you can at least recruit something. You can probably get a wide receiver, possibly a tight end. You might be able to get 2. You might be able to get a wide receiver and a tight end. Leonard Fournette, for the last 3 weeks, 18, 25, 22. Dude is producing like he is solid in the top 10. So go get rid of him. Go get rid of him now. Go sell him before it burns you. Go sell him before it bites you in the ass. Whatever the terminology is that you want to get that little ass nip from, that is what you to put in that head.
Yep.
Go sell him. Somebody else that again, like I said, a top 15. And again, it's gonna hurt my feelings because he is a Gator. You have to sell high on these players, especially in redraft. Dameon Pierce has produced and is going to produce the rest of the year. Go get your value. Get you a wide receiver 3. Go get you a running back 2. Go get you a QB 2. I don't care. Go get it. Because he's a running back. You got to sell
Especially
high
a
on these
Texan.
running backs. If you don't, you're going to get your ass
Especially
burned.
a Texan, things can get ugly quick.
Oh, absolutely. It could go downhill.
Yeah.
Real quick.
His value is sky
Real
high.
quick.
So yeah, I'm all about that. See if you can go move a Dameon Pierce and move into even an Alvin Kamara, Aaron Jones.
It's sad that when you say
or
that,
go get a wide
it's
receiver.
sad when you say that that Dameon Pierce is ranked higher than Alvin Kamara right now. It's honestly with Alvin Kamara, it is all about receptions. And of course, he's got his injury, and then of course everything else going on. But it's sad that you sit there and look at it and go, okay, why is Alvin Kamara ranked lower than Dameon Pierce, a rookie in the Houston offense that is shit?
Yep.
It is 100% because Alvin Kamara is not getting the receptions.
You're just waiting for it to change. You know, they're going to figure that out eventually. They have to. They're going to figure that out with Alvin Kamara. That's why I'm okay with moving off of Pierce if you can move into somebody like Kamara. If you can move into somebody.
Oh, can you imagine? Okay, so if you were to if you were to sit there and go offer, I know it sounds stupid, but if you were to Dameon Pierce for Alvin Kamara plus what?
I mean, even if it is,
you're wanting more.
I mean, I'm willing to move over.
You're not gonna do that.
I'm willing to move laterally in redraft.
Okay, so you in a redraft, you would sit there and go Dameon.
I'm not a big 1-for-1 fan because I always feel like you need to try and squeeze something out. But
yeah, I want to squeeze the lemon.
If you can find them and they have just Robbie Anderson that's been sitting on the bottom of their bench, and they stumbled into that trade, you know, maybe you can be like, hey, if you don't feel like taking a chance on him, here, throw that in. You know, if I need a flex, I'd even be willing Tyler Boyd. If I need a flex that I can play that's almost matchup proof, give me AK and Tyler Boyd. Here's Dameon Pierce. But I'm a Tyler Boyd.
That's
truther,
horrible.
Though.
No, I was thinking the same thing. I was like, holy crap, when you brought up Tyler Boyd. I mean, I was good on Robbie Anderson, but you brought up Tyler Boyd, and I was like, oh my God.
He's like the king of the shit pile.
And it's huge. As huge of a Dameon Pierce fan as I am, I'm like, yeah, now you got to sell him now. He's a running back. I mean, what are you going to do with him in 2 years? So, Dameon Pierce, Alvin Kamara, and either Robbie Anderson or Tyler Boyd. I would
Nico
let you
Collins,
pick the wide receiver. To be honest,
that's another guy that's a buy for me down at the bottom of your bench for flex appeal later.
Yeah,
I would switch Texans out if it meant I was getting a wide receiver over a running back. Running back can get game scripted out. Nico Collins is on the rise. AK is pretty even for me with Dameon Pierce overall for the rest of the season. So I think you're just kind of adding somebody at that point.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think it honestly just depends on your depth of your roster because, I mean, you sit there and look at it and you're like, okay, I need an extra wide receiver. I'm going to give up a running back, gain a running back, and get a wide receiver. Even if it's a wide receiver 2, even if it's a wide receiver 7, you know, you're still getting a wide receiver, and you're probably getting an accomplished wide receiver, at least in some respects. So, I mean, who would have thought that, you know, 6 months ago we'd be sitting here talking about Dameon Pierce for Alvin Kamara?
He wasn't on my radar.
Yeah. So, yeah, give me
for Dynasty, for Dynasty, right. But redraft, I didn't think it was going to be a thing. Now we can get into wide receivers. We're looking at sells. Right now, if he's still in your roster, if you haven't cut him yet and put him on waivers already, add him into a trade now and get some kind of value out of him, Allen Robinson. This past week, he had 5 of 6 for 63 yards and a touchdown. He scored 17 points. Me and Pork were talking last week, and we said, do not even try to put him in your roster. Stop trying to start him. Get rid of him. Now, you might be able to sell him for a little more. Pair him up with somebody, make something look a little more appealing. But either way, it's get him off your roster still. I'm not interested in Allen Robinson.
Well, that's where you and Pork fucked up. Just gonna flat out say it.
Yep.
You caught it a week too early because a week ago you were getting
I dropped him in
he
the
was
league.
droppable. Now he's at least, you can catch
wide
a
receiver,
fifth.
boomer bust, wide receiver 3 range.
You can get something for him. He isn't the worst thing on the roster anymore. So
and you got Van Jefferson coming back too. So
and y'all were thinking with that dynasty mindset, get off a week early. Y'all got off a week early too soon.
Yep.
He was valuable this past week. Not sure that he will be next
sell him
week
now while he has
week.
that 17-point game fresh in everybody's mind.
But selling that should be your sell high, not sell low. That should be definitely sell high. Sell high now, because if you don't, he's done. I mean, God, I've been on Allen Robinson all year. Go back. I've got receipts to show it on Twitter. It's horrible feelings that you only want to produce the receipts that actually you win. No, I've got the receipts that show that I lose.
I got a few of those.
So they're there. I'm gonna stay in the same city, in the same stadium. My sell high, Mike Williams. Sell now. Mike Williams over the last 3 weeks. I know this is against Jacksonville, Houston, and Cleveland. I'm sorry, against Houston, Cleveland, and Denver. 19, 23, and only 3.
Played a good defense and fizzled out some.
Right? All right, so 19, 23, and 3. He is linked with Justin Herbert, and he's going to be for years. I truly believe that. Keenan Allen's on his way out. You got Gerald Everett as the only other wide receiver, tight end available right now. You got Josh Palmer. You got a few other little side pieces or whatever they want. But you still have Mike Williams. Mike Williams is going to be the number one. Now is the time to sell high on him. Go grab the assets with knowing that Keenan Allen's coming back, knowing that Gerald Everett's getting production. Go and get rid of Mike Williams. Grab you a wide receiver. Grab you a wide receiver 2. Go grab you a RB2. Grab you some depth. Set this guy away.
I'm with it. Yeah, they got Keenan Allen. They're working Eckler back in. Eckler's starting to have some good games again. So, yeah, Mike Williams is one of those guys. You enjoy his boom weeks. He wins you a week. But he's hard to trust for any stretch. Every 3 to 4 game stretch, he's going to have at least one bad game. He's boomer bust, but he's one of those boomer bust extreme end. He's like a wide receiver 2 boomer bust.
Right. And I may be a week late on this, but you get that 23-point week. Maybe last week was the week to sell him. Maybe last week was the week to sell him on the high, where you could get that 2-for-1, that 3-for-1 kind of a
At least
deal.
there's a trend that teams struggle against Denver. So you can at least use that as a selling point. Look, teams struggle against Denver. He's not going to play Denver every week.
What? Yeah, and so you got Seattle coming, and then a bye week. So you may have that 2.5 week area to go. If he goes off next week and goes at 25, you can sit there and look and go, he went 25-8 against Jacksonville. Jacksonville's pretty damn good defense. Then he goes 19-23, 8 against a damn good defense in Denver. Yep. And then throws up 32. Let's say he throws up 32 next week against a Seattle, and then he's on a bye. I'm selling.
Especially if Keenan Allen's going to get healthy.
I mean, the stock market is open. Give me the hammer.
I'm with that. I'm right there with you.
The other one I would keep an eye on is wide receiver 22, Curtis Samuel. You know, with some of the stuff that's happened over the last few weeks with Carson Wentz now is not going to be playing. Looks like Taylor Heineke is going to be playing. So, I mean, we saw some good things from Taylor Heineke last year. Don't know what that's going to mean this year, but
he liked McLaurin a lot. So
I mean,
outside of McLaurin, you may want to move away from that offense.
And that's the thing is, you may want to jump on selling, you know, Curtis Samuel now.
Yeah, I'm with that as well.
So
get away from that offense. Stay away from Washington. Just move on from them.
Yeah, there's only certain pieces of that offense I want a piece of in redraft, and that's going to be Brian Robinson, and I mean I want pieces of Terry McLaurin, but I don't trust him.
Boomer bust wide receiver 2.
You know, I trust. Yeah,
that's another Mike Williams 100%. Category level wide receiver right now. As much as I like him,
if you can get 2 weeks of 20-point from McLaurin
immediately,
turn right around and sell him right now.
Next up, we look at tight ends. My number one tight end sell is Gesicki. Gesicki just had a big week where he scored about 24 points. His snaps were up a bit. He's still the tight end 12 on the season. But Tua's coming back, and the offense, once it gets healthy again, I'm not trusting it. Before that, his snaps were down to 30% at one point. He wasn't getting the target share. Durham Smythe was basically running the tight end 1 on the team. So back into your roster, if you're struggling at tight end and you had Gesicki, go ahead and sell him now and see if you can move up into somebody a little more valuable.
No, I'm with that 100% because, I mean, you're going off of a boom week last week. And then Tua's coming back this week.
And then the week before, I think he had 2 targets. He had like 2 catches, and he caught a touchdown. They put him on the board as far as tight end goes. That's not worth it.
Yeah.
Move on. Get some more targets.
Yeah, but it looks like Tua's coming back this week, and Tua does not target the tight end, you know, and especially in the offense that Mike McDaniel wants to run. Tight ends are just offensive linemen for him. So 100% agree. If you can get anything for Gesicki, accept. It shouldn't even be. It should not even, in my opinion, should not even be a counter. So if anybody wants, if they were to offer you, you know, Nelson Mandela and, you know, whatever for Gesicki, that's an auto accept. I mean, it truly is at this point. Dude just put up something last week that he hasn't put up in like a year and a half. You know what I mean? And we all know they do not run that offense through the tight end, which is crazy because Tua had a good tight end in Alabama, and he used him, and he's a damn good tight end in the NFL. Doesn't use a tight end in Miami. So absolutely 100% agree with that. If you can sell Gesicki, go sell him. I got one tight end that I would sell right now, if you can, and I don't know you can, but it's Gerald Everett. Gerald Everett's been used crazy numbers right here. Last 3 weeks, 19 points, 1 point, and then 10 points. Just in the last 3 weeks. but he's got a touchdown in that, so
Yeah.
that's all that matters, right? That's all we're looking for in the tight end. But last this, we just saw it the other night. He was 5 for 7 targets to receptions, only 29 yards. Only 29 yards, and he still got 10 points. Tight end position is such a hard position to predict. It's such a hard position
Right.
to analyze. It's worse than running back, to be quite honest. I love the tight ends, but I just don't know that you can have a tight end. I mean, you're talking about Kyle Pitts. I was talking about Kyle Pitts earlier and how bad last year was with Kyle Pitts. And Gerald Everett's doing the exact same damn thing. He's got 2 touchdowns on the year, and he's tied in 9 on the year.
Yeah.
I mean, we're only 6 games in, but it's a shitty concept. You know what I mean? So
I can see it. I can agree with that. You can move him. I think he's been doing well enough to where you can sell him. Well, that's it, guys.
All right.
That's it for our buy lows, sell highs this week for week 7 of the NFL season. I was joined today by Gator J from the Fantasy Intervention and GoingFor2 YouTube channels. Thank you, Gator, for coming in. Thank you for giving us your insight on your buy lows and sell highs on the season. I want everybody to tune in. We're going to go over sits and starts on our next episode. So until then, if you have any questions, hit us up in the comments or hit us up here at laughingmanfb@gmail.com and go over to the GoingFor2 channel. Hit subscribe. Hit a like on all their videos. Check out the intervention. Follow them over there and come back over here and catch back up with us for sits and starts. So until then, guys, see ya.